Building a sustainable practice is the key to health and well-being. I should define that, because practice could mean anything. But building a sustainable health and well-being program, practice for yourself, is the key to good health and well-being. Now, this doesn't mean it has to be perfect. And I think this is where people get stuck. They set off with these high intentions, these big goals, and then when they get a little stuck or unhinged or something goes awry, they give up completely. And I really feel, and this is speaking from a 20-year vantage point of when I was diagnosed with cancer, which is 20 years ago, and I was given 6 months to live. And it took me the first 4 years to get some practices in place to literally balance out my health and well-being. And I chose not to work with conventional medicine. I chose to completely work with holistic practices, and that worked for me. Now, that's not the point I'm making here. That's not everybody's path. I did decide to get some testing done at a particular point, which happened to be 4 years on, and it came back clear. And people always think that that was kind of the end of the healing, and it actually was just the beginning. That was just the bit where I call it created the base level from which to work, because I was really poorly. Now, the reason I want to share so much about encouraging people to create their own health and well-being practice, taking charge of your own health, is so that you don't get that poorly. Because I certainly wasn't looking after myself on all levels up to that point. I was in quite a bit of chaos, mentally, emotionally, physically, energetically. And so my system manifested cancer for me to listen. So I've been there, so you don't have to. So we want to make this as simple as possible, because always people will say, particularly with exercise, and I obviously teach movement, which is the best form of exercise. And I always say the same thing. I've been saying this for 10 years, probably 15. It's the one you're going to stick with. That's the best form of exercise. I don't care what people are selling out there, the latest bar, the latest Zumba class. If you don't like all that stuff, you're not going to stick. You're not going to even go, let alone stick with it. You've got to find practices that you're going to stick with. You've got to find a way of looking after your mental well-being, your physical well-being, your emotional well-being, and your spiritual well-being that give you a complete package and program that allow you to move through life. And I've been thinking about this a lot more recently, because I realized I needed to kind of tighten mine up again. I'd slipped. I'd been going through some emotional stuff, and as a result was paying less attention to what I was eating and moving, and started to feel really sluggish. My energy was dropping, and I thought, okay, let's go and get some help, which for me is usually holistic first and then conventional. Most people it's the other way around, but that's personal. That is personal choice. And I thought, but there's so much I can already do, you know. Am I meditating every day? Have I got, and I love to meditate, have I got a stable meditation practice every single day? Am I journaling? Journaling is great for me. I love writing. And I suddenly thought, gosh, I haven't written in my journal for ages, which is a great way for me to release emotionally. Am I checking in with how I'm feeling? How am I reacting to things that are happening around me, to me? What, you know, am I tolerating things that I don't want to tolerate anymore? And this is where we have to get to know ourselves as well. So I know some of my patterns. And so because I know my history and my patterns, I can then go, oh, hold on a minute. That's me going into that pattern again. I don't want to do that. And yes, I want to say no in this situation. And how can I do that in a way that empowers me and empowers the person I'm saying no to, or the situation I'm saying no to? And I'm jumping around here, just giving you lots of examples, because I really want you to think about, what is your health and well-being practice? What does that mean for you? And it is simple. It's not necessarily easy, but it is simple. Am I moving every day? What kind of movement am I doing? Am I getting a balance? I do love my cardio, but if I'm not strength training, I don't get that bone density that we need to be building as we go through life. So that's super important. Plus, I'm just on the brink of starting carnival season, which is relentless until September. We have a gig every weekend. And in August, we have gigs in the week as well. So I have got to look after my body to be able to do that. These carnivals can be 2 hours long. It's like doing a marathon. Well, maybe not a marathon, but it's like doing a race. It's like doing an event. And you have to make sure you're fueled properly and rested properly. You have to make sure your mindset is in balance. And especially as I'm managing and organising a group, I have to really make sure my mindset is clear and I'm holding strong. Because, or as in all groups, there are always moments of glitch, little areas where things occur that you have to deal with. And I need to be able to stand strong to do that. So it's knowing yourself, it's knowing your life, it's knowing what you need to be fueling yourself for, and then building that practice around that. And once you get a practice that feels good to you, you will stick with it. And there will be times in life where stuff happens, divorce, death, moving house. All of those things can really throw our system and we lose our practice. But if you've created a level of foundation, you've got something to go back to. Or what you might find is that the foundations hold you through a period like that. So it's just vitally important to constantly check in with yourself and to be creating this space. And it's not one thing or the other. I often see people waxing lyrical about one element of this. I'm sorry, but that's bollocks. You need all of it. It has to become a lifestyle choice. It can't be, well, I'm going to run myself ragged in my work and then go to the gym and eat a candy bar on the way back kind of thing. That doesn't work. And it particularly doesn't work as we age. What you could do in your 20s and get away with, you probably can't do in your 40s, 50s and 60s. We have to be looking after ourselves more fully. We have to be listening to our bodies more. We have to be responding to what we hear and taking appropriate action. So we want to be looking at, I have it in my Supercharge Your Life program, what I call 6 magic modules, which are movement. So how are you moving? What are you doing for activity? I recommend daily, but again, you have to find your way with this. Meditation and energy work. That's the spiritual stuff. Do you have some kind of a practice there? A sitting quiet practice. I think personally, I find meditation and movement a perfect combination, not necessarily done together, but I can bring that mindfulness into my movement space. So have you got something like that? 2 minutes a day? Again, I think daily works best, but work with what's best for you. Find the practice that works best for you. I'm just running through these really quickly. Mindset. So this is, what are you thinking? What thoughts are running through your head? Like trains in rush hour kind of thing. Because that is so key. Once we start to be able to listen to the flavor of our thoughts and change them, and journaling can really help with this. Mood. Emotions, I discovered, were key for me, my emotional health. And it's still one of the areas I think that gets overlooked. There are more books about it out there, but it still gets overlooked. How we feel really impacts our health and well-being. I often see that disease in the body is made up of emotional tension that's built up in the system. So that is massive. Meals. What are you eating? What are you putting in your body? And this isn't to go after the latest fad in diets. Don't become a vegan if your body says no. Don't start eating meat if your body says no. You have to figure out what works for you. It is not a one size fits all. And I think people that say the whole planet should be vegan, I totally disagree. There would be different problems with that, but that's a whole other show. It's a whole other video. It's learning what works for your body that gives you the best fuel to get you through the day, the week, the month, your life. And then tracking that with a food diary is a really good way of seeing what you're actually eating, especially if you're a bit of an unconscious eater, which I can be. Food diaries, love them. And then me time. Now, me time, I have this as a vast area. It can be candles by the bath and having a nice bath and a glass of champagne with your besties. But it can also be, are you living your best life? Are you digging deep and being the person you really want to be in the world? Are you living out your dreams? Are you doing those things you say you want to do, but you keep putting off? I'm guilty of this. I'm really guilty of this. I can think of one thing that I've been saying for a while that I have not taken action on properly yet. Because that can impact your health and well-being if you're not really living from your soul. So it's not just about a few candles, and I don't mean to minimize that, because that level of pampering can be a nice lift. But I feel what can be a greater lift is just living those dreams out, really digging deep and being that person. So if you want to work with me in our 6-session coaching and healing one-to-one work, Supercharge Your Life, DM me the word super. I am hoping it'll probably be September to run a free 5-day shake up and shift where we do this in 5 days. We literally run through just to give you a taster of what we do in this program. I will give you more information as I get clear on that. And been wanting to do it for a while. I'm looking for a week when I can dedicate the time, which doesn't look like it's going to be before September. So if you're keen to get cracking with your health and wellbeing program, DM me the word super and let's talk about enrolling you on Supercharge Your Life. The investment is $999, which is a small investment for your health and wellbeing. I really don't believe you can put a price on that. And I would say I probably spent a lot more on various practices over the time I had cancer than that. So I'm going to end it there. Have a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're tuning in from in the world. Take care.